You're looking important. Important.
Okay, are we ready?
I'm ready, I'm Bob.
I guess he said Bernie's go.
Bernie's ill too?
Yeah, he's got a gut problem.
That's enough.
That's all I was gonna go
Yeah,
to.
that's right there.
Okay. We welcome all of you to the Hermosa Town Board regular meeting, Tuesday, January 18th, 2022 at 6 p.m. And we always appreciate the crowd. With roll call, Flug is absent tonight, Hendrickson is absent tonight, Holsworth is here, King,
Present.
Schumacher.
Here,
Appreciate that, and we appreciate, like I say, everybody's attendance tonight. We'll try to make it a short and sweet meeting, and so we don't get blown away in this cold, nasty stuff that turned on us tonight, so we appreciate that too. Please all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. For the agenda, review of the current agenda, we will have an executive session at the end of the meeting. Mr. Westergaard, you'll be asked to wait until the end of the meeting, please, and then we'll have discussion then with our executive session on law enforcement. So with that being said, is there any other amendments or changes from the board on the agenda? If not, motion to accept it as read.
So moved.
Mr. King makes that motion.
second.
Schumacher seconds that motion. Any further discussion? There being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you, board. The consent calendar is the approval of the January 4th, 2022 public hearing and regular meeting minute. Any questions, concerns, thoughts on their minutes, or a motion to
Motion to
approve?
accept or approve.
Mr. King makes that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Schumacher. Any further discussion? There being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Item 4 is claims, review of the payroll and claims. Any questions? If not, motion to accept is written.
Make that motion?
Schumacher makes the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
By Mr. King. Any further discussion? If being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. And my apologies. Jill and Gail are absent. We appreciate Joan stepping in tonight and helping out with secretarial duties. So Mr. King for helping with the tapes, and we'll hopefully have good legal staff to keep us in the right direction. So thank you for all of that. All right, item number 5 is law enforcement abatements, complaints. I don't see at present anybody here from Custer County. We are still on the other 2 items. We should be getting a log next meeting, and so we'll go from there. But I do see Doug is here. Do you have any kind of phrases or words of wisdom you'd like to share with us tonight?
I would say when you get the logs, get just the rough copy of the dispatch logs as well. There should be a activity log and then a dispatch log to go with it.
Okay. Okay. Yep.
That's how it is.
Yep. Well, we appreciate it. We appreciate you coming tonight. So, any other comments or anything that you got under law enforcement for us, or?
I will be running again for Sheriff of Custer County this year.
Nice, we appreciate that. So we look forward to seeing you and appreciate that very much in your attendance tonight. Thank you, sir. Anything further under law enforcement? If Custer County comes in, we'll go back to it then and review from there then, so. Number 6 is legal.
Still haven't gotten a response on that extraterritorial agreement with Pennington County,
Okay,
so.
and then there'll be some other items we may discuss as we go down through, so we appreciate that. And if there's nothing from the board for legal, we'll move on to item number 7. Under engineer, Leah was unable to attend tonight. She left some notes on her agenda items that she sent out just tonight, and of course nobody was here to be able to get them from the office, so if any of you want to review, I'll have these here for us to review off of. Pretty much on water rehab project, the WRT. Of course, we're still waiting for the results of the testing for that. The funding support being considered by Custer County on the commissioners. We will meet with the commissioners February 9th to discuss that on that funding. So that'll be a big portion of that. North 2nd Street box replacement guardrail. I did talk to Mr. Zocker last week. He was gonna order that Thursday or Friday for the school as well as down here. So we'll go in conjunction on them, and hopefully we'll be able to complete that project and remove it off of our board. So we'll watch for that. The Lone Coyote subdivision, Preston subdivision, ACES was sending a water sewer plan revisions to Renner and requesting completed plans for review on construction is where she was at on that. Any statements on that one from you, John?
She'll need revised sewer before, the water is up in the air, we know that, but as far as the plat's concerned, what do you need there?
Construction plans for the preliminary plat she was referencing, because she talked about that
Yeah.
3 meetings ago, also about it in reference to that, when Jim was actually here, and made mention of it, that was the next stage, because he had asked what was needing or being needed, and I know ACES sent Renner some of that information of what was needed for the preliminary, before the preliminary could be approved, was the construction drawings. And then I know the sewer, like you said, there's a realignment on that manhole.
Hopefully, well, not only that, but hopefully instead of doing that 600 feet of removal of 20 foot of earth, on Thursday, we're meeting with the contractor,
Okay,
or I am at least, and trying to figure out a better solution there. So what do you need from me right away?
I think the email was sent to Renner,
It was.
and probably follow up with ACES. It would be a good thing for Renner, but construction plans with preliminary, that'll have to go to P&Z. P&Z had that also on their agenda, and it was made pending because we didn't have the construction plans, so. And then ACES has to review all of that, come back with the staff report. Then it goes to P&Z, P&Z does their approval, and then back to us, so.
We any different on the water, anything going on there that you're aware of?
Not yet, other than we're sticking it in.
Okay.
Nothing's stopped from any portion of that, and so they'll be coming back down. We're changing a couple of the directions on it, from where we're at. So that'll be something we're supposed to meet on also and see where we go from there, so.
Okay, well, if you do, any of you need anything, please give me a call.
And we'll keep you posted as we learn, it's all kind of in the air. So it's
Okay.
kind of a difficult situation right now, and I can't go into some of the details because of the
Obviously.
legal, but.
I'm hoping my schedule is to offer them for sale within 30 days. And closing, not sure yet. depending on a few
Yep, so
things.
the good thing would be getting that construction plan and to Leah and for review and getting through P and Z, so things are ready to go. You know, that's the only thing slowing you back right now. So that's the only thing, and I know she did send Renner 2 meetings ago, Leah said that,
Old lady, I don't
Yeah.
remember for sure, but
what she was needing, and I believe from P and Z too, that was also referenced, so.
Okay.
So that'd be a good follow-up for us,
All right?
and
Sounds
we'll
good.
keep you
Thank
posted.
you.
Anything else from the board? Okay, then the next item that was on there was the Hermosa sidewalk project. She had a side note of the ongoing South Dakota DOT, that's still out there for bid this spring. Sounds like everything is still on track on that part of it. Sewer project on the lagoon, depending on the funding support, we may be considered and discussed with South Dakota DA&R. There may be a chance we may be going in for the treatment plant instead of lagoon cell. So there are circumstances happening there. If that continuation goes in that process, then that's what we're going to attempt to do. So it's a matter of, the commissioner meeting is a big part of it.
no, we wanna stay with the lagoon. We gotta have our geese ponds.
For the brown trout,
No, for the geese.
so we'll just continue to update on that as we go forth on that part, but we're kind of at that mercy of that February meeting. The town and Hermosa water and sewer expansion project, still working through the cost-effective solutions with the Dollar General complex. We're meeting with Schultz tomorrow to discuss possible options. Utility conflict at the north end was resolved by shifting the water and sewer mains to the west within the utility lot. So that's all been handled, and otherwise everything is going smoothly on that one. Item G is the water sewer facility plans. They have been submitted, of course, so we're just waiting to hear back from the state. If there's anything else they need to know from us on them reports, then we will, of course, take care of that as it handles to us, so. Item H is Hermosa Hills drainage. She had, we're pending and waiting for response from the developer, which on last meeting we talked about that a little bit and talked a little bit with Mr. Poulos. He said he's kind of waiting to get with you.
Actually, I talked to him today, Dan, and he's waiting for the engineer's report, and that won't be done till February 1. So-
From his side, yep.
Yes.
Yep, that's what he said. Then he also expressed the next phase. We talked about narrowing right of ways so compliance could happen on them lots down there. And he was gonna get with you on that
Well,
also.
we talked about going west instead of south,
Oh,
so we'll have to annex, the property ends, where the project ends right now, so we'd have to annex an additional 10 lots, 5 on each side of the street, so.
okay. Well, then what we may end up doing then is coming across on that easement for the movie theater to get that sewer line hooked up then somehow, some way. Cause that was kind of a big part of this next phase too, that we had talked about, so.
He has not been very cooperative with us,
Oh, okay.
so.
And he's been very good when he's come in here, so I guess he's never said nothing negative about it, and always just wondering how things were going with you guys and in the development stage of it, and always positive, so I guess I haven't felt any of that negativity.
Do we need to get a meeting between the town, you and him, and get this figured out? Because he's required to tie in, and so we need to figure it out the best way for you and for us and for him to
Well,
get
it's
it
probably a
done.
good idea about to have a meeting, he just has ignored any kind
Cause it would be nice that next phase too, as that was laid out in the plating, to be the next segment of it to also address that, so. That will be kind of a deviation from the original plat then. So we
Yeah.
definitely wanna discuss that too
of, no,
with the
it certainly
engineer,
will be a deviation.
so that'd be a good thing. So that'd be something that we'll, touch base with Aces and Roy and them, and then see about. Boy, there's not much time. We'll see what's next week.
I'm fine, anytime, probably. Trent, I don't know.
Maybe we'll see something about the 26th, if your schedule is good with that.
What day of the week is that?
Wednesday,
Yeah, that'll, for me, anyway.
like to keep that more in the middle of the week, it doesn't conflict so much with,
I should be available. Barb's got a couple of doctors to visit, but I've gotta find out if I need a driver or not.
and we might do, if we did the 26th, what time do you usually get off?
That depends on when the freight truck comes in.
So I was thinking if we did a 2:33,
That would work.
yeah, so if we do a 2:30 then, that way it'd work out for Terry too, and hopefully the others, so. We'll shoot for that, John, 2:30 next Wednesday,
We'll get Trent here.
and we'll contact Roy and Poulis and see if we can get everybody put together on that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you.
2:30?
Yep, we'll make notes of that and see if we can get that accomplished on that side of it. All right, next item was the Elmer Claycomb Dollar General. You have a letter that Mitch reviewed from Aces, and then my comments were the third page. We just wanted Mitch to review on that letter, and if he felt that first page and a half was appropriate, that's what we would send to Mr. Claycomb. And I needed just concurrence from board members on it that they're okay with that. Mitch said he was okay with that.
With this one?
The first page in this would be what we would mail. This is my comments here. So we would just go with the engineer's comments.
If Mitch is good with it, then I'm fine.
I am.
Okay.
Okay.
So a motion to allow Gail to send that to Mr. Claycomb when she returns.
So moved.
Mr. King makes that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Schumacher. Any more discussion? It being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you, board. The item I is the Whitney Street drainage. Aces, we will meet with Jerry Foster, FMG, next week to review the drainage on site. I did ask her to let us know, so that if any board members also wanted to attend and address that we had have that ability. So she'll keep us informed on that and let us know what's going on. That way, if we got a post for a quorum, then we can post for a quorum. Anything else from the board members on engineering? Okay,
Lot going on.
yes, there is. Item 8 is planning and zoning. You have P and Z minutes.
When was that meeting?
January 8th,
Week
January
or 11th, I'm sorry.
11.
January 11th? We're already January 18th.
So as you see, what we have in our packet under Mr. Preston on Hermosa Hills down there, or Lone Coyote, is the subdivision plat application, which will be pending till we have construction plans. And Mr. Preston will work on that and have that put together for us then. So that'll be the only pending item under P and Z. The ADU ordinance pending, Anything else, Joan, that we needed to discuss?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay, appreciate that. Anything from board members on that?
No.
Okay. Item 9 is public, I'm sorry.
I would like to say a word of appreciation to the P and Z, because there's been so much going on, and you guys have been so helpful in a lot of your suggestions and the work that
Thank
you're doing, so just to point that out. So,
Thank you.
Well,
since Joan is here helping me.
I appreciate that greatly. And for any of the people in the audience that are our residents, we do have 2 positions that are open,
Yes.
and we sure could use the help. So anybody that wants to help with public service and get more informed with the community and the town, planning and zoning can use the help. So we'd appreciate that. All right, being nothing else from that, then we'll move on to item number 9, Public Works. Mr. Ferguson.
Not much on streets, there's a few holes still there, so street lights still on order. Water, there seems to be some kind of mix-up on the rads at the lab. So, we're gonna have to pull another sample on the new well. And so, probably gonna be adding a little insult to injury on the water down below on Whitney, because we'll have to pump that thing for a few hours before we pull that sample. And, the sample was taken, but where the issue is, back to the good old COVID, I used to take the samples and walk right in and set them down, and the chain of command was signed and dated, and I had a copy, and so consequently what probably happened here was the samples, I took a back key and that rad sample in the same day, which is November the 5th. And that stuff has to be cultured, of course, but I think what happened was that the chain of command probably was not signed, and there was some confusion with the quarterly rad with that rad. So to clear up the water, I talked to Rob Catay and linked over the whole thing in Pier, and so long story short, we gotta sample it again.
Yeah, and it sounds like we gotta mail out notices to everybody too, and which is.
No, I
They
got-
changed it now?
I got that cleared up.
Good, good. That saves some hassle
The
there.
guy that's creating all the excitement is new, and Rob's been there for 40 years. So
Yeah.
had a little conversation with him to get some duct tape, and so I think that fires out.
Good, we appreciate that then.
To cap the old well, I'm gonna get concrete when Poulos gets some on his out there to put that half a yard to seal that up. And so that's about it on water. Sewer, we pumped the lagoon. I talked to Pier, and of course, when you have a situation that the ground's frozen, then you get more runoff than what's necessary. So we got about 24 hours in there. I would have liked to have at least another couple more hours on there to take it down more. But with the weather changing, and it just didn't happen. We only made it 60 days from that other pumping, so I've got a call into Pace in Billings, and hopefully we can schedule with them to come do some Cameron and possible jetting and stuff. There's no question in my mind we've got infiltration big time somewhere, because the water is just raising. You can just almost see it from day to day.
So they'll do everything on their normal maintenance is what they'll do too when they're out here then. Good.
Well, see, before we had them do the obliterate, and I was not real satisfied with that because we had some problems after that.
Right,
And so this cammering will indicate, you know, if we've got a kill on most of the roots. 90% of our problem is roots. So that was a thing we tried last time. So basically we need to camera everything again and see if we can, what kind of shape we're in, because we skipped a year on the cammering.
yeah.
So,
Now, are we putting that root killer in annually, or is it something that they apply?
no, they apply it when they have their equipment here.
Okay.
You know, it's actually a foaming agent that goes in the mains, and if the roots make contact with the foam, that's curtains for that stuff. But
Okay.
we did have an area that it didn't kill, so I don't know if the foam wasn't high enough in the pipe or what happened there. But anyway, it's time to look in there again, see what's going on. The water down on Whitney, I sampled that water myself and then did a backup to the lab in Rapid City, and it is tremendously hard and quite alkaline, so the chances are pretty good it's not city water.
Right,
I wouldn't say pretty good, I'd say it's almost positive it isn't.
right.
So I've had a couple of conversations with Lloyd Jr. and on how to reroute that and what he prefers crossing his land. I've talked to REA and they're agreeing that we can use their easement if we have to trench down through there to divert that water. And I have not had contact with surface water and DNR, if there's any complications with running that water straight to the creek.
And it's something,
It is spring water, I mean,
Right.
when they put all that fill in there, all that did is enhance the situation a little bit, so.
and that's all something that's gotta go through ACES with this going on with FMG, and so that'll all be included where, when we have that meeting, we'll be in touch with you, let you know when, so we can all put that all together in one big situation on that, so.
So, like I said, the lagoon is pumped out, and, so we're gonna have, probably pick up the pipe. Like I said, we made it 2 months, and that's highly irregular for that.
When's Pace coming?
What's that?
When are the jetters coming?
Jetters? I don't know, I haven't got a call back from them yet. But, that's Pace,
Right,
so.
that's what I said.
They haven't got a schedule with me yet to do that.
Yeah, sooner would be better, definitely, but the weather's gotta be in their favor too,
Yeah,
so.
it depends, you know, if we can get them somewhere in the area so we don't get hit for mold. Boy, that was quite an expense at one time when we had them come down.
Right,
And they were already here, so.
and it very well may be, it's probably gonna be a spring application anyway, so.
Well, I don't know, we've done it in January before, but it could be a February thing. The biggest problem is having some place to put their truck,
Right,
because when it's cold out, you know, it has to be in some place that's heated.
yeah,
So, I mean, they drain their tanks in between, but their pumps and that stuff, it has to be someplace where it's in out of weather.
okay, further.
What areas, what buildings do we have in
None.
the area
They
that,
usually, last time worked with City of Rapid City, and actually were able to get in down there too.
anything over here at the fire department that's big enough and open that?
They got every bay full with their own equipment, so.
I'm wondering.
But if they, and it could even, I don't know, we'll check with the county on their new building down here if it,
I don't think it'll fit in over here either.
No.
The doors aren't high enough. They may have a stall at the county, I don't know, I could check with them.
yeah,
It just depends on when we can get them, you know.
right, right.
We because that's, weather definitely hampers their operation.
Yeah. Okay, further.
I think that's it.
Okay, we had discussion, Mr. Ferguson and I, about over here at Pat's place, which was the old Quarry Shore property on Fourth and Vilas there, where it's one house over, with that sump pump pumping across the sidewalk and then filling that ditch as what it is there. And, you know, in Hendrickson's old property there, Chuck had reminded me that we had allowed it to be pumped into the sewer, so it wouldn't create what it was doing. And I think this would be another good application, as Chuck recommended, to do the same thing and maybe solve that problem.
Well, one comment I have on that though is, right now we're looking at possible infiltration of the spring water into the sewer that's bringing the lagoon up
Right.
faster, and it's not really sewer water. So, you know, we're gonna be creating another issue if we're pumping all this spring water into the sewer.
Right. Yep, 1 minute,
The one
please.
on Vilas Street is actually going under Vilas, behind the fire department that you're remodeling, and it's down the entire alley and has
Yeah.
made it to Manning Street.
Yep, that's why I brought
It's
it up there.
completely saturated.
Because I drove them all again this morning, and I've been watching them for the last week and a half, 2 weeks on it. And I understand that, and we understand the extra infiltration, but what it's gonna create, just like the one in Jones's alley there, you know, the way it's coming down. And now it's come around the corner and hitting Vilas, where it's running to, and that one has just appeared as a natural spring. It's coming from nowhere. And I fully, as Mr. Ferguson and I talked, when that school addition was done, it's really, I feel, routed that water in a lot of different instances, and we're just gonna have to work with it and fix the problems as they arrive. But I think on that situation with that one, to solve a big problem, we need to go to them and have them go ahead and pump it into the sewer for now and solve a problem that's gonna create 2 blocks worth of
Well,
problems.
it's lesser of the two evils, but it's way, way, way less impact if they're allowed to discharge into the sewer.
It's hard, it's hard. You know, but summer, you can use it for irrigation on the lawn and stuff, but in the winter, I mean, we've got 2 ditches that are ready to run over Vilas. It's that severe.
Is all this water the same as what we've got down by the
Yeah.
railroad tracks?
Yeah.
So it's all spring water that's
And if you notice, that thing's getting pretty wild too,
Yeah, it's-
all of a sudden, so.
full and running along the tracks there, I noticed too. so-
Well, when you have thawing and freezing and stuff, it isn't any different than the creek, you know, I mean, it runs out there and then it freezes and then it doesn't thaw in time for it to put another one out, so it just creates a ripple effect. And we don't have that trouble in July, but in November we do, in December.
And we've talked clear back from '07, when we had the flood. And we've done all our drainage studies, and if we could have done a master drainage plan within the community, at some point we talked about hard piping everything, eliminating the ditches, and then by doing the culverts, then we could allow them sumps to be plumbed into them culverts. And then we eliminate that problem, and then you're not having the surface problems. But, you know, we're only gonna have 2 that'll be in that situation at this present. And at that point, it's not the right way, it's not the way that we like to practice. But until we get to that stage where we can do something on hard piping and work them in and then address it, and that's what we did with the other one too, the same way. You know, we have to deal with it because that other one was as severe and was taking 3 of them up, and it's just like it's moved over one property now.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and Doug's always had water in his crawl space and Mills and all of those along there for 40
but what's funny
40
is on
years.
Mills now, they're dry.
Yeah,
There's no water coming down there, where that thing is 24/7.
yeah.
So there's been a course of change from this addition, but I need a motion to allow that water to be put into our sanitary sewer.
I'll make that motion.
Schumach makes it, and a second by Mr. King. Further discussion? If being none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Further, sir?
I've got to talk to Joan a little bit. I've got a call into Custer Planning, that proverbial house on Fairgrounds Place that's being moved out, the new one's moved in. There's no permits on that thing at this point, and I don't know how we're gonna handle that exactly. The reason for the moving permit, as you know, but maybe the public doesn't, that spurs the situation with the county that that piece of property is no longer there to be taxable. So that's why the moving permit is generated, is to let them know that that particular house isn't there anymore. However, they're moving a new one in, and I've done some preliminary measuring, and the size of the house they're trying to put in there, they can't meet the setbacks. So with no permitting being done, and she informed me that as of now, she's not in the city limits, so that falls into the 1 mile jurisdiction or the extraterritorial somehow or another, but this is gonna be another one of those that's gonna be a battle to the finish if we don't get ahead of it. The old one has moved out, and I don't know when the new one's coming, but
There's a green one over there now. That's the one
yeah, that's the one.
that they're bringing in.
No,
No, that's the one going out.
Coming
It's
out.
going out.
Right.
And I know Gail has sent Terry information that we need to be included in this loop. And that was our biggest problem with Rex, is what you and I talked about. And that the bad part is with the county ordinance versus our ordinance, they don't mirror each other.
Well, I do believe that, I'm pretty sure Gail did call and talk to them. And they said they would consider our input, but her position is that they would do any permits required, not us. And we could submit our suggestions.
Yeah, and the thing is that we've referenced with our water, with our sewer, that's why we have our concerns, you know, and we are in the middle of a study for the annexation. So that was to be told also, that's,
Well, you know, every time they get someone new up there, the position changes, because originally our first agreement said that if it's within the 1 mile territorial, they will permit through Hermosa.
yeah,
And now all of a sudden, they're not.
yeah. And if she'd fully
It's
read
Custer,
that, I
yeah.
think she'd understand it.
Custer.
Custer,
Mhm.
well, that agreement you control.
No matter who's in there, right?
Yeah. We have an agreement.
I have an agreement, but I haven't read the latest one, and they renew it every 5 years. So Gail did email me an excerpt from it, and the new one, I believe, does say that Custer has the permitting instead of us, which I don't know why, when that was brought to the board, it wasn't discussed. Yeah. I mean,
No, and I
it's
thought,
not a change you
What do
would
mean they
want,
change it
so,
every year?
every 5 years.
Oh, every 5 years.
Review it, you know.
Well, Custer does a new contract every 5 years, yeah. So, yeah, if you would read it, that would be a big help, just to see who actually gets to do the permitting.
would you look at that
Yeah.
for us, Mitch, please? And see if we have some authority.
No, just,
If that was changed on that, that would be a real disappointment.
Yes.
Gosh, we worked on that for several years to get that in place, so it was a good situation.
Or is it just an old copy that they now have up?
Oh, we
What I
updated.
mean, yeah,
Oh.
the new one may have been misfiled, and then you've got the old one that is what they're looking at.
We'll find out
'Cause-
once we dig into it, see what they
when is,
did.
Gail gonna be back?
She don't know about tomorrow yet. We'll
day by day, so to
Yeah.
speak.
I almost think it'll probably be Friday.
Cause I mean, I have a version, I don't know if it's the current one. It's not signed or anything.
Yeah, I noticed it wasn't signed, so it makes it, but you could probably get one from Custer, ask which one they're referencing,
Yeah, daily.
and see if it's the same one, yeah.
Yeah,
In the file somewhere, there should be a signed one though, so we know the dates on them.
yep. Yes, sir.
I thought Gail was gonna start going to the county meetings.
No.
Can we get it on their agenda to actually bring it up right there? And ask them right then and there?
We'll be at their February 9th meeting and we're gonna bring it up then when we're at it, but. Further, Mr. Ferguson, thank you. So you gonna contact Pat about that? Okay. And then, we're gonna have to monitor that adjourns and see what we may have to do. We may have to cut some of that alley a little bit so that that kind of leaches off of there behind the duck lady's place and, you know, kind of filter through a little bit. We don't want it all going there, but,
Well, today it thawed quite a bit, so there's more water than there was.
right,
Where it originally was coming up, we looked at that today and it's not coming up in that spot anymore.
no, I looked at that this morning.
So, I don't know, there's a couple things I wanna look at over there, where there was an old trailer there originally, where Bowler's.
It's just that water, it's that same hard water look.
Well,
That's the
it's
thing
yellow,
about it.
just like the other stuff is, so I mean.
I think a spring has popped again. That's our problem. We'll monitor it. Thank you for all you do. All right, being done with that, item number 10 is the finance officer. You have your monthly financials. Gail does, of course, apologize,
Yeah.
but there isn't anything she can do. It's
She can come
unfortunate.
and share.
No, no, Bob, she can't come and share. No.
So you do have your monthly financials. Then there is the municipal league. I did have her sign me up for that rib dinner deal to make sure we're there.
Question I have,
Yes.
with them both being out, do we need someone here during the day just to keep
And-
the office open?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that after I got through
Okay,
the,
sorry.
nope, the rest of the report and where we felt we needed to be. So you're right on track. Thank you. The volunteer of the year is the February 24th deadline for nominations, so anybody that has any nominations for volunteer of the year, please do turn them in.
That'll
Have
be
them
in
here.
the February newsletter also?
Yes,
Thank you, John.
Good. The events I just referenced with rib dinner and day of legislature and pier. Both of them are February 1st and 2nd. And I do want to attend that, it's been several years, so. The municipal tax 2021 recap, I told her we'd be nice to have her here and come back because I had questions on a copy of, you know, they have their reports and what they're listed. There should be an easier way to get the vendors that contributed and then how they arrived at their worksheets. So I told her we'll leave them pending on the agenda, as well as the G-Works discussion on the software. I have a ton of questions on that one, especially at the bottom line of the end, so I said we'll leave that pending also. And then we'll discuss it when she's feeling better and here and available. So, and then last item is availability of anybody to come up and sit at the office or not, or, you know.
John.
Congratulations on your
sorry, can't do
retirement.
that, I still got W-2s and 1099s and 3 meetings this week, not in January.
And I think if not,
I
The
may
public
be
will be-
available tomorrow Thursday, probably not. Um,
And she didn't know about Jill, because Jill started antibiotics. Now this will be going on 48 hours, so she didn't know how she was gonna feel. I said, if they're feverish and not doing well, stay home, please.
I'll plan on being here tomorrow. And,
Yep, for whatever time. If you're here till noon, and then we'll put a letter up, you know, on the door, express that we'll be closed until they're both back and feeling well. Everybody's got the drop box out here. We can pretty much get the key and check the drop box and bring any of the water bills and stuff in and have four there and put in the safe and be good to go, so. Anything else that you wanna have on your finance officer?
I'll just do it.
We'll move to item number 11, old business. The engineer had item A on the annexation Gumbo Lily Fairgrounds Place. That study is in progress. She has no updates. So that'll be a time period on that. So any questions I can answer from anybody on that item, if you're here for it?
Where's your boundary lines going? What are you all annexing?
We'll find that out when the study comes out. The anticipation is it will come up to you, Danny, and then you, Sarah, and Core, and then that corridor there. So that's what was discussed. But that's the biggest thing that everybody needs to realize in the study. We'll see where that study is, and then the discussions before anything moves forward will be with everybody coming in. Then we go over it, then she'll have figures of revenues and taxes and what we're doing and what we're applying and what we're providing and all of that. And that's what the study will all show. Then that's when we can have a great open meeting about it and discuss it all. So that's what we're kinda at.
Yeah, so you're still waiting on stuff to figure out whether it's even gonna be feasible or not.
Right, and with her, that's the biggest thing, and you hit the nail head there. You know, we have put in our feasibility study for water and sewer out there already, and that's in DE and R. So with the process of annexation, there's gonna be stages of this annexation. You know, we've got Fairgrounds Place, 2 other properties over here, and then she had discussed possibly the Catholic Church and the Legion would be a phase. Then she discussed, of course, Gumbo Lily going out, and then we had discussed Highway 79 West out to the campground. And with that feasibility study, what it is, I talked to Alan Hanks tonight, for example, and I told Alan, I said, and Alan, I appreciate his wisdom, because that man has been through this time and time and time again. And I said, it's just like a construction site job. I said, Fairgrounds Place will probably be phase 1 and 2, Gumbo Lily, phase 3, 79, phase 8 or 9 or 10. It could be 2-3 years before we do anything. And anything out there, it's not a situation. The study is like a future use map, where you're projecting, you're predicting. If development continues to go, you're preparing yourself for what infrastructure may need to be applied. You know, a project like that could be $5 million, just throwing a number out there. Well, we're in no position to ever do any of that, but if you don't start your studies now, it will be 5 years that might be on us. Well, then there you are. You know, you're not prepared, it engulfs you, and then what it does is it harms the residents, because then it raises your infrastructure. You know, when you've got a community that depends on water sewer as their income, very little sales tax as what we have, well, you try to keep that at a base so everybody's in an affordability. But if development comes in and engulfs you, that takes everything up. You lose control. And then it just raises all your infrastructure fees, because you're depending on user fees. And that's what the study does. The study prepares us for all of that. And that's why the engineer is the one doing this study. And we'll go through every segment of that so the answers are out there. And then a person's more prepared for it. And it's no different than we'll be reviewing our comprehensive plan, as well as our future use map, as well as the annexation areas. We need to look at our school growth, our population growth. You know, there's a lot of people talking to high school in the next 10 years out here, if things continue to go as what they are. So that needs to be included in the future use map also. So that's kind of where we're at in the big picture right now.
You're more or less just doing a study, trying to get it figured out.
Right.
Right.
Okay,
Yep.
that's-
And
I
when
took
we,
it as, I've understood, took it as it was being annexed.
well, and the thing is when we get to that stage, everybody's getting a letter and a notice that we're gonna have a meeting. And that we're inviting you to that meeting to discuss where we're at with it. How fast she'll get through this study, we don't know. You know, that's the hard part. And so we will have that positioning. Once we do, March is when the infrastructure releases are for all the sewer and water expansion going up Gumbo Lily and the mains. Once we learn that, that also plays a big part of this study and lets us know that these are the abilities. What we're presently doing is to provide water to every property and sewer to every property at no cost. And then any septics or any of that will be taken care of by us also, all in the DA&R facilities plan that we're working on. So that's all a big part of this, you know, that the impacts on the landowner aren't going to be a horrible situation. As far as land uses will continue the same as what they are. We've provided zoning that allows that with residential ag so that they can still have the horses, cows, chickens, whatever it allows in them positioning. So all of that's in place already. And that is our biggest thing, is not to disturb the uses of the properties. So that is all part of the study too. So everybody will be informed and brought to date on all of that. Yes, ma'am.
I was wondering, you answered some of the things I wanted to know. And so I'm learning tonight, you're considering the Southern Hills Campground as annexing it, a possibility. Are you considering going further up 40?
No.
Well, that's good.
Well, what was considered was up to like Lentz Pizza and the phone company there was in a consideration because for the future use map in the next 10 years, if things continue to go along the 79 corridor, Dr. Allen, I don't know that he'll ever sell. But if something were to happen, we know what happens to them prime properties along the highway. And conditions change, as we've seen it in all the communities all the way throughout the Black Hills.
Yeah,
you
well,
know?
that's why I'm here. We're on 40 and you're getting closer.
No, please, no. You know, this is a big bite that has been very hard on the board because
I can see that.
it's something that we've watched other communities do, whether it's Box Elder, Hill City, Rapid City, New Underwood,
Right.
every single one of them. And it's stages that have to be addressed. Reality has to be looked at. And the ones that didn't look at it suffered because their user fees went up, their infrastructure wasn't ready, they were forced into a situation that was harmful and made it rough for the citizens. We don't want that. We want protection for our people and protection for our citizens and do it the right way. Plan ahead. Be 5 to 10 years ahead of the game. You have to do that.
Yeah, I agree. And there's so many people moving in.
That scares us.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Well, and you know, we're looking at, as John was saying, annexation to the west. And so from the drive-in theater south, you know, may get developed too. So where's water and sewer, you know, coming from there? The state doesn't want septic systems. So we're trying to be proactive and plan ahead, anticipating that type of growth and development. And,
Yeah, I
you know,
understand.
things don't happen, I can't even click anymore, that quick.
I just wondered how far you had come as far as annexation was going. Yeah.
Seeing at one point, Mr. Preston and the Negabauers actually have an L shape where they will come out to 40 in full build out, and correct me if I'm wrong, John.
Not quite 40.
But there is going to eventually, you know, 40 will be a prime commercial corridor too. The amount of traffic we have. And the thing with Hermosa that people are looking at, you know, with the 3,500 families coming in from the base and what the impact is on Rapid City and the people that are trying to get out of Rapid City, we all see it. We all see what's happening. And so you've got to prepare your infrastructure, your future use plan, and have stuff in place. Law enforcement, everything goes along with it. I mean, you've got to be ready when it hits you, and if you're not, someone really suffered really, really harshly, and we don't want to be one of them. So that's why this is all going. Any other questions?
You said taking water and sewer out would be no expense to the, there's no, you get a tap fee on that or anything?
Not if it's part of the
No,
grant.
no. If you have above and beyond your usage fee and you want an additional one, yeah, then there would be. You know, but for your purpose of where you have one usage for your residents and what you're doing now, that's what it'll be. So that's already figured into this facilities plan. So, you know, and then plus in that facilities plan, we had the lagoon expansion, which now in what we had in here was part of it on that is we're drilling another well. We want to do a Madison, roughly 1.5 miles out, putting another tower up and provide a better well out there too. That's all in the facility plan too. All the projections have been done on what we need and what we're at and where we're at for the user fees and what will be applied on that. And this is something that's been discussed for 2 years now, you know.
And
Yes,
also,
sir.
a lot of it is looping in our water lines or sewer lines so that we don't have dead ends and we're able to.
Yeah, where you're putting that new one out now, you need to come across the road and
Correct.
go down Lily Lane, so you
Yep.
get double.
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly right. That's the whole plan. And that's been a 10-year thing that we've
Before
been
me.
talking now,
We
you know,
Yeah,
talked
I know
about
that.
that when I was on board the first time.
20 years ago.
Yeah, there's a.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what all of this is about. And these meetings are all open. There's gonna be committee meetings. There's going to be additional meetings for this. And like I expressed to Alan tonight, I said, the graciousness of the knowledge is phenomenal because he gave me 5 tips tonight about be prepared for this, you know, and you're doing it the right way, and we appreciate it. And when you do annexation, as everybody knows, what are you gonna do for me? What are you gonna bring to us, and what are you gonna serve us with to make it worth our while? You know, and you have to be prepared for that. And that's why it's a 10-year plan, and that's what I told him tonight. You know, it's a future use plan. Yes, sir.
Is there any plans that the city has to, for any potential commercial properties in Hermosa itself to try to bring in outside businesses to help with sales tax and whatnot?
What there is, and it's funny you brought that up because Gail was just talking about this, and it's pretty exciting that we want to get together with you and Alan, the bishops, the Van Sambeeks, the John, you know, the people in the community, pops, all of them, get an economic development group going. That we need to have a base and a conversation. And part of the future use plan is that involvement. As you've been very well aware of on the boards that you've served on, you have to do that in your planning. So what do? You drive the business people that are in your community, the agricultural people that have larger land abilities in your area, as well as the citizens, to make these future use plans come together in an economic development group. And that's what we need to have to do it wisely. The input from all the wise people we have in our community is huge. So that's our next stage, and when Gail gets healed up, that's one of her pet peeves that she wants to do is get this thing moving forward. We have a young lady that we would like to get involved with it, that's done a lot of economic development stuff in Rapid City. I think that would be a really good fit if she'll take the position, so.
Rushmore Telephone Company has an economic development branch in their division to help with economic development in the areas that they're in.
Nice,
So, I mean, they're a valuable resource, but, you
yep,
know, part of the reason why I'm here is when I heard about the possible strip annexation idea. I mean, that's nothing that any of us along that corridor right now are in favor of.
no, no.
So,
And that's why planning, you know, it has to be planned, you know, and it's a conversation that has to be broke. You know, none of us are up here to get scalded over it or tarred and feathered, but it's reality. If we all think we can put our heads in the sand and think it's not coming, we're mistaken.
I understand that. I'd rather grow from within than to reach out and then
Yeah,
maroon yourself.
yeah,
That's why I was asking if there's any grants or any incentives to try to bring business into the town itself and build the infrastructure from the inside before it branches out.
see, and the good thing about it is the last 20 years, we've worked hard on the inside infrastructure, getting everything stable, getting everything prepared, so it's ready. And then to be able to start branching out. And the way the residential is cleaned up and the way our community has cleaned up, there are possibilities, but 79 is the corridor that we're gonna see, I'm afraid the commercial is gonna start really pushing hard because of the numbers.
Well,
You're also gonna have that trickle in town and any possibilities there are. It's just Highway 40 is our next and there's more residential area than there is the commercial ability, so.
you and I have talked to the governor before, and this is gonna be one of the things that spurs the ability for Hermosa itself to grow, is to be able to have an appropriate on-off ramp of some sort and
Yeah.
for the safety concern, and to be able to stop people to be able to come into the town.
Yeah,
Until we address going across 79 off of 40 here and 36 and 40 down there,
yeah,
the safety concerns is paramount. But to be able to slow the traffic down enough and be able to give a reason for people to be able to stop here, and for this really to be a bedroom community for the base and anything like that. No one's gonna come in when people are driving by 75 miles an hour.
yeah,
So I think that needs to be addressed, one, with the state to get that taken care of, and then incentives to bring business into the town. So.
Yeah, we
that's my
agree.
2 cents.
we agree. We're on DOT every year and it's the hardest issue and it's so saddening when their explanation is we'll do more signing, we're not going to allow a stoplight out there, and there hasn't been enough deaths.
Yeah.
And it's like, how sad is that when we have to judge statistics off of deaths?
Can we put a toll booth out there with a Zilkowski to get a stoplight?
Well, one thing that might help us, Brian, is, you know, again, the state limits their slowdowns to the city limits. And if our city limits is moving north and south, we may be able to get that 70-mile-an-hour slowed down a little further away from town too, which may help some of the safety situation.
The sheer volume of the traffic, plus the additional signage at Spring Creek, they've had, what, 5 fatalities at Spring Creek in the last year and a half. And when you pull onto Spring Creek and look north, there's 6 road signs saying that there's something coming up. And that blocks 80% of your view looking north.
Sure,
So more signs and everything else is gonna make the problem worse.
no, exactly.
So,
And that's another prime spot, there should be a light. There is no doubt.
there is a Maverick Junction.
And with here, we even expressed, even though they won't do it, it has to be annexed property. We wanted to go another 1/8 mile with our signs and slow it down to 55. And it has to be corporate municipal limits before they will allow. And so it's not anything we're gonna quit on ever. It's one of them battles that you have to stay on yearly. With Mr. Preston's development coming about, that's gonna put a lot more pressure on this corridor also. I think that we're gonna have a little more leverage. We don't want statistics, we just want proactive, so.
Well, the one concern that we have, even with John's development up there, is Shore Road. You top that hill and somebody's slowing to turn, you know, that's even worse than down here. You know, cause you're pretty much blind until you crest that hill. And,
Well, there's plenty of people that crest this hill at 80 miles an hour.
oh yes.
So,
Okay.
well, we appreciate your input. That's the status on everything, so I hope that we've answered everybody's questions and relieved some and put everybody else at ease, and we do look forward to input. We're gonna have a lot of future meetings, so we're gonna ask for your help on the economic side of it. I love the tip on the phone company for Mount Rushmore Telephone. Situations like that are always great when they have templates that we can follow and involvements that we can start on, so that'll be a great tool for Gail too. So we thank you for that. We'll move on to item B. The town sign is still pending. She had to comment in there on that. ACE's sign elevations and sign information have been requested. We're waiting on a response and the data to be able to be completed by South Dakota DOT in the right-of-way permit application. So it's there, we're just waiting to hear back from them. The Dollar General malt beverage wine license, of course, is pending. We've heard nothing back from them. The ADU zoning ordinance is still pending. The town office deck staining is pending. The mudjacking, we just got a report on that. I will make copies, get it to everybody. I think it's almost cheaper to pour concrete. But we'll share that information on that mudjacking and then get that out to everybody for the next meeting. Anything further from the board on old business?
No.
Item 12 is new business. We have item A is the chapter 30 Hermosa ordinance review. This was brought out by P&Z, and Joan, I'll give you the table.
I wrote a memo on this today.
I
I
haven't
sent
seen
it
it.
to Gail to distribute. She obviously wasn't here,
No.
so you might wanna,
Is it something we want to leave pending?
yeah, I think you should read it first,
Okay,
and you can get a copy too.
Sure.
You could actually have my copy. I'll leave this with you.
So you don't
We'll just,
need any discussion from P&Z then for your purposes from their last meeting, or?
Well, I think that what happened would be dovetailing into my memo.
Okay.
okay, we'll
It
just leave
might
it
become,
there.
maybe my interpretation of what was trying to be done here isn't as accurate, I don't know.
Okay, yeah, we can certainly leave it pending. Our main reason for going through this is because this ordinance is not transparent, it's not clear, and it's not equally fair across. It's just, it's
Well,
way
there's
too
a whole-
open.
There's a lot of components to what's being
Yeah.
proposed for changes, so.
And a lot of that has
most of
to
my
do
say are-
with,
most
we
of-
wanted
Most
you
of
to
the
look
changes
at
I
it.
say are fine, some not.
And that's fine, we'll go through it again and leave it pending till,
Well, then my recommendation is it goes back to P&Z
yes.
with this new change, and they review it then.
Yeah,
That's where it came from.
I didn't draft an ordinance yet. I put together a memo on the topics that are being raised in the proposed ordinance amendments
Okay,
and redactions. So,
So what would be good, Joan, is if you'll read that, then if you've got questions, please contact Mitch, and then
yeah.
the coordination
I
can
realized
happen.
Jill wasn't here today. No wonder, she usually responds right away.
Yeah,
Wondering why, now I know. I wasn't even here.
so that way then your board can then review it again and
absolutely.
bring anything up that needs to be, so.
and if any board members has any input to it, get their comments to.
Well, and it would be
Joan
good to
also.
go to the next planning
Yeah, I
and
was gonna
zoning
say, you're
meeting.
welcome to come to the meeting
Yep, and then
and,
everybody can discuss it at
it
one
always
meeting.
seems to
How do I
work.
get this memo to you guys?
She can make copies.
Have you got my email at my office?
I just sent everything to Neil, I didn't want,
I'll scan it
I
and
don't
get
wanna
it.
hurt anybody's feelings by just sending it to.
No,
I
you're
will.
fine.
And not everybody
Mitch, I'll just
sees that.
scan it and send it to everyone.
Okay, that'd be good.
Good. Then we'll just handle it from there, but if the board members would please, we'll make it attention to them in public that everybody can be at the next P and Z meeting and review with them. Then that way, when it comes back to the town board meeting, everybody's already went through a lot of the work session stuff, so. Sound good, Mitch?
Yes.
Then we can bring from P and Z any changes or questions back to you again.
Yeah, that would be good.
Okay.
You can email me with suggestions
Sure.
if I'm missing some point or what you're trying to do and so forth.
It's called COVID.
Huh?
Okay, we appreciate that. Item B is the Casey Peterson Hermosa audit engagement letter. I don't know if you guys read that thing, but I did, and we need to rebid it. You know, the cost of this, when we first started with I think her name was Linda that we had.
Yes, it was.
Doing that audit, it was
She was-
$5,000 to $6,000 to do the audit. This audit now will cost us $19,006 is what I figured up. They want $14,000 for the audit, $4,400 to put the paperwork together, and $1,200 to distribute.
No, we're good.
So
How many companies do you know
I
do
think
this?
Kettle Forstison, I
Oh,
think
that's
is
right.
one.
Yep.
That
That's
does it, and then, I don't know if we go out online and see if there's any others, but, and maybe this is the going rate, I'm not saying it, they've been fantastic on their report, and of course, for the town of Hermosa, with our federal and state loans, it is required every year that we have an audit, and then accountability and circumstances, and then plus it's for the finance company, or committee too,
Yeah.
on that side. But Casey Peterson started out at 10 grand, and every year now it's continued to go up, you know, by $2,000 or $3,000, so. I don't know, I think it's always good business to price check, so if the board is okay with that, I
Oh,
think we
yeah.
need to look into some other avenues, and we have till March to have this back, that's their deadline. And here, I think it was, yeah, March 1st is where they're at, that we have to have this engagement letter back by. So, we'll look at that and we'll just leave it pending on our agenda. Okay?
Yeah.
Item C is the 2022 South Dakota Legislature. That's the Senate Bill 62 that's been brought out. I don't know if you read that. Basically, the state has $600 million that's there from the stimulus monies that's for infrastructure projects. And what I've read through this, and I've read it several times, and I've got we're gonna put a notice out to Julie Fry-Mueller and Tim Goodwin tomorrow and find out what their feeling and take is, but they're basically stating in here with this mitigation fund that if you're declared or declaring any of your infrastructure projects as an emergency, that you're almost guaranteed that you're going to get your qualifications of what you want to do for infrastructure. And yet, there's still the questioning of, if it doesn't fall under emergency, are you going to have to repay it? If it does fall under emergency, then you'll get it as a grant. So there's some real hard hinges on it that aren't real receptive. So that's why I'm gonna put a notice into Tim Goodwin and Julie Fry-Mueller and get their take on what they feel it reads and what our elements are. You know, these are all ready to go projects, and we've had ready to go projects now for the last year and a half, and we're submitted, so we're qualified for any of the stimulus money. So it's also that if we're able to apply and be underneath this, then a big portion of it's grant money, and which takes away from your user fee of what you're gonna have to have for your public. So then it allows you to do like our treatment center and have less monies that would be a user fee for our public. So that's why something of this nature is huge. And a big portion of it is getting dropped into water and sewer. There's some going into bridges, some going into highways. They've got the formula on the website of it. I think there was 2 million of it that are going into also hazard mitigation grant program, which is another thing that I want them to let us know about on the hazard mitigation part of it. And that was something in that part of it, like our flood, for example. Preparations of what we can do, and this could apply for our drainage study. You know, the monies that I got from private entities for the 100,000 that we did, the bill over study, and then we did the old dairy study and applied that. Well, that $100,000 can be used as a cost share against this hazard mitigation if we did a drainage study for the town. And with it being also a emergency situation, that may be one way that we can hard pipe all our ditches and get it all under grant. You know, because we looked, back in '07, we were at $5 million to do that project then. Well, we know it's tripled since that. So grant money is huge.
Don't we have some other flood mitigation, that study that was done too, that may apply towards
That was
this
all of
too?
that
Yeah.
old dairy and bill over. That was that monies that was used for that. And that's what we have out of pocket. And then part of the money that we raised went to our emergency siren. that's
What
down
about
by
the money that was spent looking at this area that
Yeah,
was, that we
that's what
could
I'm
not
saying.
use?
It's
Our
an area
second-
here.
Yeah.
Yep. And that was gonna be a conversation with the Nichols on that situation back then. So, but if we can find a way to better direct all the town's drainage to the creek without crossing private property, then it's well worth it. And we'd always anticipated the railroad right-of-way is the ideal situation to bring all of that down and follow that corridor down to that bridge trestle.
Storm
So-
drainage type.
So this is another one that I'm also going to ask them about and see if there's some qualifications there. And these are more of a cost share, as if you read into that, where there's 75% that's federal match, 10% that's state match, and then there would be 15% local applicant match. Well, that 100,000 that we've already applied would be considered in that local match. So it's a good situation to look at. Okay, any questions from the board? Any items from the citizens?
I just have a question as far as when you're saying like the 600 million or whatever in water and sewer lines, would that go towards like, I live on the oldest part of town, so like how old are the water and sewer lines in that part of town? When were those put in?
50 years, 60 years?
Sewer was put in '61. Not much has been done to that. I mean, that's the idea of the cammering and the inspections and that stuff,
I'm
is see
sure a
where
lot of it's busted and
areas
cracked.
that need to be worked on.
Would that be go towards some, I mean, I think it's been 2 years ago, I saw some people with like a laptop and they were scanning the ground for water and sewer, that there was supposedly some kind of new stuff coming for us in our inner infrastructure. Is any of that gonna go towards us, or is that gonna go to the surrounding outside of town and we just live with what we're dealt with?
No, it'll be oh, go ahead, Bob.
that's, as Chuck was saying, that's what we've been doing is cameraing and checking the condition of the sewer lines in town. We're identifying which are the worst situations, and we'll work with those areas, as
Well, I
finding.
think these breaks or springs, I mean, that's all finding its way into cracks and crevices in our sewer system, and is why it's all dumping into the lagoon.
Yeah.
So there's holes in there from roots and rocks and who knows what, trees and,
We've been pretty proud though of our infrastructure. It's really amazingly in good shape. And we've replaced a lot of bad areas Mr. Ferguson has over the last 30 years that have been really horrible. We know there are some other areas, but that's why the jetting is so important, because we find them conditions. And there was some problems up between Ralph and Mindy and yours and coming down there that were corrected, that have been a good situation. And so the jetting tells us this, the camera, and any of them areas that we have, which there's 2 or 3 areas that we would like to replace and fix. And so this next set of cameraing will give us that information and then go from there.
So what would the lifespan be for your sewer system with doing your normal maintenance and keeping it up?
Oh, it's forever, you know, for what he has done on rooting and cameraing and the foaming has carried us for the last 25 years. And it's amazing how the areas that were most severe, Mr. Ferguson has went in and fixed them, and kept us in good shape. Water, of course, we replaced that, 15 now, years ago?
99, 2000.
Yeah, so everything on the water is new on mains, and that's a good situation there. So sewer, it's like any community, you take area by area. If you have an area that is breaking down or having a lot of infiltration, which we'll find, like Connie referenced, that we have infiltration of water in that situation, that's when they'll find it. Then will be areas that be concentrated, and then we'll go in and ask for monies, correct. And that money is for any infrastructure repairs to existing, so you're exactly correct. Thank you. More citizen input from anybody? Well, we certainly appreciate everybody being here. I'll wait for trustee input until after executive session. We hope we answered everybody's questions tonight, and we appreciate everybody being here. We'll give everybody a couple minutes to gather up, and then we're gonna go into executive session. Thank you all.
Make the motion to go into executive session.
Make a motion
Finish it.
So do I have a motion to go into executive session at 7:23?
So moved.
Mr. King makes that motion, Shimon seconds.
I care what's my percent.
7:23. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Getting titles is a lot harder to do. You just send a certified letter.
Mr. Westergaard will be allowed.
Initially, no. I would say no.
Good, Bob?
Let me see if it's going.
What's wrong with it?
Okay, we should be recording.
So at 8:06, we came out of executive session. Mr. King made the motion, Schumacher seconded the motion. It was all ayes. And the result of the executive session, there were no motions needed or made. So the last thing we have is trustee input, Schumacher,
Good meeting.
King.
All of them should be this short and concise.
And I think I'll keep reading my Bible to make that happen. I appreciate everybody being here, Joan filling in, Mitch giving us guidance tonight. And we'll keep everybody informed on the other items on the agenda. Don't forget about all of us attending P&Z, and we'll have her post that so that it's all listed that way. Motion to adjourn at 8:08.
So moved.
Schumach makes it, King seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. I like it. And I think to keep the meetings like this, if we're going to have any annexation study meetings or anything, it should be a separate meeting by itself, so that it doesn't run our regular meetings so long.
I agree.
Any of the